region more enlightened. All right, this was in November of 46. But look what happened the following year. The Lord gave me the following view in 1847, while the brethren were assembled
on the
Sabbath, Thompson, Maine. The sun came up, and the moon stood still. The stream ceased to flow. Dark, heavy clouds came up and clashed against one another. But there was one clear space of settled glory, whence came the voice of God. Like many waters which shook the heavens and the earth. The sky opened and shut and was in commotion. Then the following year, December 16, 1848, dark, heavy clouds came up and clashed against each other. The atmosphere parted to roll back. Then we could look up through the open space in Orion, whence came the voice of God. The holy city will come down through this open space. These three visions are actually intertwined with each other. First this one, then God gives her, first this one here, then God gives her a little more here, and then here, finally, she gives the name specifically, Orion. So it's a buildup. Now remember this? Joseph Bates said that the New Jerusalem is coming down by the flaming sword of Orion. And this was in May 8th, 1846. Go back here for a second. When did she have her first vision? November. All right, November. He published this in May. And remember what she said? She never read anything about astronomy before this time. So she never read what he had printed. And by the way, Joseph Bates, he never had a vision, and he never had a dream about this. He figured it out all on his own, just by studying. Ellen White reported this experience in the Curtis home. After I came out of vision and related what I had seen, Elder Bates then asked if I had studied astronomy. I told him I had no recollection of ever looking into an astronomy. So, back to these two gentlemen. Is this a subject of relative unimportance? Let's think about this for a moment. Now, like I said, I work at Fermilab. They do research in high energy physics there. Now, probably when most of us were in school, atom is proton, neutron, and electrons. But since then, they have discovered all these subatomic particles in the atom. Lots of them. This here is the largest galaxy that they have discovered so far. It's 5 times larger than our Milky Way galaxy. So far. This is the largest galaxy that they have discovered. This is the visible universe 14 billion light years from Earth. And all those little white smudges you see there, those are not individual galaxies. All these smudges that you see here, those are super clusters of galaxies. Super clusters. Not just clusters, but super clusters of galaxies. And all those galaxies containing billions and billions of stars each. In this picture here, a Hubble update, October 13, just recently, 2016. They discovered that the universe has 10 times more galaxies exist in the observable universe than astronomers thought. This result places the universe estimate population at a minimum of 2 trillion galaxies. A minimum. I'll go back here for a second. Right here in the center, that's the Virgo cluster, supercluster. Our Milky Way galaxy is in this supercluster. My question is, what's out here? What's out there? This is as far as they can see. Keep that in mind. So everything that you see right here in this picture, I really wish the lighting was darker so all these pictures and the videos would really come out. But everything you see here are individual galaxies. And there are some that are red, and that means those galaxies are like way out there in infrared light. The galaxies are way, way out there. So, everything that God created, from the smallest particle within the atom to the largest galaxy in the universe, and all these billions, trillions of galaxies, everything that God says, everything that God does is for a reason and a purpose. Think about that. Everything he does, everything he says. And if he told Ellen White that the New Jerusalem is coming out of Orion, he must have said it and showed it to her for a reason and a purpose. Now you saw all those galaxies. Have you ever thought about this? Again, you saw all those galaxies. God could have put heaven anywhere in the universe, could he not? Any one of those galaxies that you saw there, God could have put heaven in one of those galaxies. But he didn't. He put heaven in our galaxy. And not only did he put it in our galaxy, he put it in such a location that when we look up into the night sky, and by the way, looks like it's going to be clear tonight. I would encourage you to go out tonight and look for the constellation of Orion. What you want to do is look for these 3 stars. Once you see these 3 stars, the rest of them will pop out. So, God specifically put that there, I believe, for us. So that when we look up into the night sky and we see Orion, we can stand there and point to it and say, that's where heaven is. That's where God is. That's where Jesus is. And you can stand there. I have done this, where I just stop for a moment and I say a prayer as I'm looking at it. I'm not praying to the stars. I'm praying to the one who lives among the stars. And I also think that by us being able to see this as we look up, it's as if God is looking down on us and saying, I see you, I know you, I know what you're going through. I see your tears and I see your pain. But I'm right here. Look up. Look up. I'm right here. You can't see my face right now, but you will someday. I'm right here. And in your troubles, in your joy, in your sorrows, I'm right here. Take my hand in faith and I'll walk with you through it. to the end. So, Joseph Bates says, New Jerusalem's coming through Orion. Ellen White saw in vision the New Jerusalem coming through Orion. Is there anybody else? How about this gentleman right here? Who do you think that is? John. Yes, the last living disciple. The story has it that they tried to kill John in a pot of boiling oil. And nothing happened to him. I can imagine these gentlemen there who were trying to kill him, put him in a pot of boiling oil, and he was just taking a warm bath. That really must have done something to them. Because they decided to banish John to an island of Patmos. And when I realized that, I thought, you know, they probably thought among themselves, we better not mess with John. We'll just put him away somewhere, right away from everybody. So they did. They banished him here to Patmos, right there. Zooming in a little more, there's the island. Here's called the Cave of the Apocalypse. If you happen to go there on vacation, I'm just going to go through this kind of quickly. All right, overlooking. So here's the Cave of the Apocalypse. You can go there, and there's John, and that's looking into the cave there. Now, I don't know if this was the actual cave that John was in, but nevertheless, I just wanted to show you this. All right. The Holy Cave of the Apocalypse. I was on the island of Patmos. Too bad they stopped there. All right. So, here's John.
I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation, and in the kingdom and patience of Jesus Christ, was in the isle that is called Patmos, for the word of God and for the testimony of Jesus Christ. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice, as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia.
Okay, so here are the 7 churches.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
And he talks about, I'm just going to go through this briefly, had a wall great and high. The wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. The city lies 4 square. The length is as large as the breadth. He measured the city with a reed, 12,000 furlongs, which comes out to 1,500 miles each side. The length and the breadth and the height thereof are equal. He measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, 216 feet, jasper, stone, Paris, crystal. All right, so this is what John saw. 1,500 miles up, 1,500 miles one way, 1,500 miles the other way, square cube. Now, Jesus left earth on the Mount of Olives. Here it is. Christ descends. Now, just talking about after the 1,000 years, Christ descends upon the Mount of Olives, whence after his resurrection, he ascended, and where angels repeated the promise of his return. It says the prophet, the Lord my God shall come and all the saints with thee, and his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, and there shall be a very great valley. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth, and that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. As the New Jerusalem in its dazzling splendor comes down out of heaven, it rests upon a place purified and made ready to receive it, and Christ, with his people and the angels, entered the holy city. Great controversy. All right, so here they're showing what the actual size of the New Jerusalem would be. X marks the spot of the Mount of Olives. Here's another nice illustration, give you an idea how big it would be. Now, unfortunately, you can't see this down here, but there's an arrow here that says clouds. Let's see. I forget what it is.
Weather clouds, 17 kilometers, 11 miles.
Okay.
Troposphere.
Yep. So 11 miles high is this section. All right.
And then ozone layer, 50 kilometers or 31 miles, stratosphere.
Mm-hmm. And then we go on up to outer space, which is 800 miles up here. All right. Now, next slide. Now here's Mount Everest, 5.49, 5.5 miles high, Mount Everest. And this is how you have to dress if you go up to Mount Everest. Oxygen mask, the whole works. Now, I'm just going to pay close attention to this. It's short. You might remember this. 1,020, okay, 24 and a half miles.
As a team considers what
You went up in this capsule in a balloon?
so the decision has been made. Baumgartner will jump.
Take a good look at what the Earth looks like at 24 and a half miles up. See the atmosphere there. That's just moment. All right, now again, that's only 24 and a half miles up. Hubble cruises around 353 miles up. The shuttle, 115 to 400 miles up. New Jerusalem, 1,500 miles high. Now think about this for a moment. You're standing on the wall of the New Jerusalem, and you look down, and you can see all the way to the bottom. Clear as crystal. And then you walk over to the edge. By the way, you have your white robe on, barefoot. Your toes curl over the edge. You're grabbing the edge right there on the wall. You look straight up. You see the cosmos, and then you look down, and then what do? You let yourself go forward, and you start falling, and you start falling, and you start falling. Not to worry, because you have wings. He had a parachute, you have wings. You open up, and you're flying. That's what it's going to be like. So is this a subject of relative unimportance?
It's strange. Long before I knew anything about Orion in the Bible and the significance surrounding it since coming into this body of faith, I always loved that constellation. Could never explain why. Always looked for it no matter where I was, in or out of the country, like looking for an old friend. I was always awestruck and at the same time very peaceful when gazing at it. Now I know why. Now you know why I was so interested in hearing your presentation after reading what Sister White had to say on the subject. Looking forward to checking the sky out for my old friend after our Bible study at our home tonight. Thank you, Victor, and God bless you.
Imagine what it's going to be like when you're taken up into the cloud of glory and you start heading towards your heavenly home. Do you see a face there? Yeah. Right here? Lips, nose, eyes. Interesting. I'm almost done. I have to cover this. How fast will we be